The power of belief will change your destiny. There comes a moment in every human life when the mirror stops reflecting a face, and begins reflecting a choice. Not the choice of where you were born. Not the choice of who doubted you. Not the choice of how many times life knocked you to your knees. But the choice of what you decide to believe about yourself when no one else is watching. That moment is where destiny begins. Most people spend their entire lives searching for opportunity while ignoring the greatest opportunity they have ever been given, the power hidden inside their own mind. They believe that success belongs to the lucky, that greatness is inherited, that wealth is reserved for a chosen few, and that extraordinary lives are written by extraordinary circumstances. But history whispers a different truth. Every empire was once an idea. Every fortune was once a belief. Every invention that reshaped civilization first existed as nothing more than an invisible conviction inside someone's imagination. Long before the world saw light bulbs, one man refused to believe darkness was permanent. Long before automobiles filled the roads, another man imagined ordinary families traveling freely across a nation. Long before animated dreams captured generations of children, one dreamer stared at empty paper and saw worlds no one else could see. The world remembers their achievements. But destiny remembers their belief. Because belief always arrives before evidence. The greatest tragedy is not failure. The greatest tragedy is living your entire life waiting for proof before deciding to believe in yourself. Think about it. The seed never asks the forest for permission before growing. The sun never waits for applause before rising. The ocean never asks whether it is powerful enough before crashing against cliffs that have stood for thousands of years. Nature understands a law humanity constantly forgets. Growth begins from within. Everything outside is simply the reflection of what already exists inside. Your life is no different. The conditions surrounding you are not always the creators of your future. More often, they are mirrors revealing the beliefs you have carried for years. If you believe you are limited, every obstacle becomes confirmation. If you believe you are destined for greatness, every obstacle becomes preparation. The mountain does not change. The climber does. And that changes everything. Some people spend decades blaming governments, parents, teachers, bosses, the economy, bad luck, and circumstances. Meanwhile, someone else with fewer advantages quietly changes their life forever. Why? Because belief changes behavior. Behavior changes habits. Habits shape character. Character creates destiny. This chain cannot be broken. You may delay it, ignore it, fight against it, but you cannot escape it. Every thought you repeat becomes a vote for the person you are becoming. Most people never realize they are holding daily elections inside their own minds. Every morning they vote for fear. Every afternoon they vote for doubt. Every evening they vote for excuses. Then they wonder why confidence never wins. Confidence is not born from comfort. Confidence is elected by repetition. Belief is built the same way a cathedral is built. One stone at a time. One decision at a time. One disciplined thought at a time. People imagine belief as emotion. It is much deeper than emotion. Emotion changes with weather. Belief survives storms. Emotion disappears when life becomes difficult. Belief becomes stronger because life became difficult. This is why the strongest people are rarely those who avoided hardship. They are those who transformed hardship into evidence that they were becoming stronger. Pain became their professor. Failure became their mentor. Rejection became their invitation. Loss became their awakening. Every setback became another brick beneath their feet instead of another weight on their shoulders. This is the hidden difference between ordinary minds and extraordinary ones. Both experience suffering. Only one gives suffering meaning. Meaning changes everything. Imagine carrying two identical stones. One represents punishment. The other represents preparation. The weight is exactly the same. But your interpretation changes your endurance. The body often quits because the mind has already surrendered. That is why your greatest battlefield has never been outside you. It has always been between your ears. The voice inside your head determines whether obstacles become walls or doorways. Guard that voice. Train it. Question it. Because it becomes your future long before your future arrives. The world is full of invisible prisons. Some are made of concrete. Most are made of beliefs. I am too old. I am too young. I don't have enough money. I don't know the right people. I missed my chance. I've failed too many times. Listen carefully. Every prison sentence begins with the words, I can't. Yet the key has always been hidden in another sentence. What if I can? 4 simple words. A completely different life. The difference between impossible and inevitable often begins with nothing more than permission. Permission to believe again. Permission to dream again. Permission to imagine a future greater than your past. The human mind is extraordinary. Give it fear, and it manufactures excuses. Give it purpose, and it manufactures miracles. It works tirelessly toward whatever instructions it receives. That is why you must become the architect of your thoughts instead of the tenant living inside them. Because your subconscious mind never argues. It accepts. Feed it doubt every day, and it will build a life around limitation. Feed it certainty every day, and it begins searching for opportunities invisible to everyone else. Suddenly you notice conversations you once ignored. Books that seem to appear exactly when needed. Mentors crossing your path. Ideas arriving in moments of silence. Opportunities that had always existed but were invisible to a distracted mind. Nothing magical happened. Your awareness changed. And awareness changes reality. Most people walk through life asleep with their eyes open. They see only what confirms what they already believe. Change the belief, and the entire landscape transforms. A desert traveler searching desperately for water notices every cloud. A musician hears melodies hidden inside ordinary sounds. An entrepreneur sees businesses where others see buildings. A leader sees potential where others see problems. Vision has never depended on eyesight. Vision depends on belief. This is why two people can stand in exactly the same place and see completely different futures. One sees impossibility. The other sees opportunity wearing work clothes. Every masterpiece begins as something invisible. Every skyscraper begins inside imagination. Every championship begins inside conviction. Every revolution begins inside one courageous decision to reject accepted limits. The invisible always creates the visible. Never the other way around. That truth has shaped civilizations. It will shape yours as well. Your destiny is not hiding somewhere beyond the horizon. It is quietly waiting behind the next belief you choose to embrace. And the moment that belief becomes stronger than your fear, your life begins to move in a direction it has never moved before. The direction of your life changes long before anyone else can see it. There is a season when transformation is completely invisible. The roots grow before the tree rises. The foundation is poured before the tower touches the sky. The river carves through solid rock long before anyone notices the canyon it will someday become. That is the season where most people surrender. Not because they lack talent. Not because they lack intelligence. But because they mistake silence for failure. They plant a dream in the soil of possibility, water it for a few days, then dig it back up to see if it is growing. Impatience destroys more destinies than inability ever will. Nature never hurries. Yet nothing in nature is left unfinished. The eagle does not learn to command the sky in a single flight. Steel does not become unbreakable without entering the fire. Diamonds do not apologize for the pressure that created them. Why then do you expect greatness to arrive without resistance? Resistance is not the enemy of your destiny. Resistance is its proof. Every meaningful goal will ask you one question again and again. How badly do you want this? Not once. Not twice. But every single day. The answer is never spoken with words. It is written by your habits. Because habits are beliefs made visible. Anyone can say they believe in success. Anyone can post inspiring quotes. Anyone can announce a new beginning. But the universe listens to consistency far more than declarations. When your alarm rings before sunrise, your belief speaks. When your muscles ache but you continue training, your belief speaks. When nobody applauds your effort yet you continue anyway, your belief speaks. When rejection arrives and you choose improvement instead of excuses, your belief becomes louder than your fear. That is the language destiny understands. Not promises. Proof. There is a dangerous illusion that traps millions of people. They believe motivation creates action. In reality, action creates motivation. The farmer does not wait until he feels inspired before planting. The sculptor does not wait for perfect confidence before striking the stone. The author does not wait for certainty before writing the first page. Movement awakens momentum. Action awakens belief. Every courageous step whispers to your subconscious. Perhaps I am capable after all. Then another step follows. Then another. Eventually, what once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable. This is how giants are built. Not through dramatic moments, but through ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary commitment. People admire mountains but ignore the millions of tiny stones that created them. They celebrate championships while forgetting the thousands of unseen mornings. They envy wealth while overlooking decades of disciplined thinking. Everyone wants the harvest. Few fall in love with planting. Yet life rewards the planter. Because every day you are planting something. A thought, a habit, a conversation, a decision, a sacrifice. The question is never whether you are planting. The question is what kind of future your daily actions are growing. Look closely at your routine. It is quietly introducing you to your future. If today looks exactly like yesterday, and tomorrow looks exactly like today, what miracle are you expecting? Destiny rarely arrives as an accident. It arrives as accumulated discipline. The smallest decision repeated for years becomes a force powerful enough to rewrite generations. One book can change a mindset. One mindset can build a business. One business can change a family's future. One family's transformation can inspire an entire community. Never underestimate the ripple created by one courageous belief. History never begins with crowds. It begins with one individual refusing to surrender to average. Average is comfortable. Average asks for permission. Average waits until conditions improve. Average fears judgment more than regret. But greatness lives by different rules. Greatness understands that criticism is often the admission price for significance. If no one questions your vision, perhaps your vision is too small. Every pioneer looked unreasonable before becoming unforgettable. When the Wright brothers imagined humans flying, people laughed. When Henry Ford imagined affordable automobiles, experts insisted horses would always dominate transportation. When Walt Disney imagined an empire built from imagination, he was told fantasy could never become business. Yet every impossible dream eventually became someone else's ordinary reality. This pattern repeats throughout history because society measures possibility using the past. Visionaries measure possibility using imagination. Never allow people who cannot see your future to decide your limits. Most advice is filtered through someone else's fears. Protect your vision. Not with arrogance. With discipline. A seed hidden beneath the soil is protected for a reason. If exposed too early, it dies. Dreams require the same wisdom. Not every opinion deserves access to your purpose. There will always be people who project their limitations onto your ambitions. They do not hate your dream. They fear what your success says about the excuses they continue believing. Forgive them, but do not follow them. Your path was never designed for unanimous approval. It was designed for faithful obedience to the calling inside you. There is something extraordinary about a person who finally decides they are no longer negotiating with mediocrity. Their posture changes. Their language changes. Their standards change. Their friendships begin changing. Even their silence changes. Because belief reshapes identity before it reshapes circumstances. Identity is the invisible engine behind every lasting achievement. You never outperform the person you believe yourself to be for very long. If deep inside you still identify as someone who quits, success feels uncomfortable. If you secretly identify as someone unworthy, opportunities become frightening. If you identify as someone disciplined, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It feels natural. The goal is not merely to achieve success. The goal is to become the kind of person for whom success is inevitable. That transformation begins in the quiet places. In the promises nobody hears. In the choices nobody celebrates. In the lonely mornings when comfort invites you back to sleep. Character is built when applause is absent. Anyone can perform before an audience. Very few can remain committed in solitude. Yet solitude reveals truth. When no one is watching. Who are you? When nobody expects excellence, do you still pursue it? When recognition disappears, does your purpose remain alive? These questions shape destiny more than talent ever will. Talent may open a door. Character determines whether you remain inside the room. This is why some people rise quickly only to fall just as fast. They built success upon appearance instead of identity. Appearance can be borrowed. Identity must be earned. Every disciplined choice becomes another brick in the foundation of who you are becoming. Brick by brick, day by day, year by year, until one morning the world calls you an overnight success. They celebrate the building. They never saw the years spent laying the foundation beneath the surface. Do not resent the hidden years. Honor them. The hidden years are where belief becomes unshakable. Because when your confidence depends upon results, failure destroys you. But when your confidence depends upon purpose, failure educates you. There is freedom in understanding this difference. Failure is not your identity. Failure is information. It reveals weaknesses that success would have concealed. It exposes assumptions. It sharpens judgment. It strengthens endurance. Every setback carries two invisible gifts. The first is wisdom. The second is humility. Together they create strength that victory alone could never produce. The people who eventually transform the world are rarely those who never fell. They are those who refuse to remain on the ground. Every scar becomes a sentence in the story of resilience. Every disappointment becomes another reason to continue. Every impossible season becomes evidence that impossible seasons end. And when they do, you discover something remarkable. The obstacle you once begged God to remove became the very mountain that taught you how powerful you truly are. Power has never been something the world gives you. It is something the world recognizes after you have discovered it within yourself. For too long, people have been taught to seek permission before they pursue purpose. They wait for approval from family, validation from friends, certainty from experts, and guarantees from circumstances. They stand at the edge of possibility, asking life if it is safe to begin. But destiny has never answered that question. Destiny asks a different one. Will you move before you have all the answers? Because every meaningful journey begins in uncertainty. No explorer ever discovered a new continent by staying where the maps ended. No inventor changed history by repeating what everyone already believed. No leader transformed generations by choosing the comfortable road. The unknown has always been the birthplace of greatness. Fear tells you that uncertainty is dangerous. Faith tells you that uncertainty is where miracles are built. Every dream worth pursuing will require you to walk through moments where your eyes cannot yet see what your heart already knows. That is belief. Not blind optimism. Not wishful thinking. Belief is disciplined certainty in the middle of incomplete evidence. It is waking up before dawn to build a future that has not yet arrived. It is studying while others entertain themselves. It is saving while others spend. It is preparing while others postpone. It is becoming the person your future requires before your future introduces itself. This is why patience is one of the rarest forms of strength. The impatient person always wants immediate rewards. The wise person understands delayed rewards create lasting success. Imagine an archer standing before a target. To send the arrow forward, he must first pull it backward. Life works the same way. There are seasons when it feels like everything is moving in reverse. Doors close. Plans collapse. People leave. Money disappears. Confidence is tested. You begin questioning everything. But what if those moments are not signs that you're losing? What if they are simply life pulling the bowstring tighter? Because the farther the arrow is pulled back, the farther it can eventually fly. Never confuse preparation with punishment. Some delays are not denials. Some delays are construction. A skyscraper cannot rise until the foundation can carry its weight. If success arrived before your character was ready, it would destroy the very person you worked to become. That is why wisdom often arrives before wealth. Discipline arrives before influence. Humility arrives before leadership. Life is not withholding your blessings. Life is preparing you to sustain them. Many people pray for abundance. Very few prepare for the responsibility abundance requires. Money magnifies character. Power reveals integrity. Influence exposes values. If you cannot manage little, more becomes dangerous instead of beneficial. The world celebrates outcomes. Life rewards preparation. Every unseen hour matters. Every difficult decision matters. Every temptation resisted matters. Because each one is shaping someone the future can trust. Ask yourself, who are you becoming while you're waiting for what you want? That answer is far more important than the timeline of your success. There is a hidden law operating beneath every extraordinary life. Attention becomes direction. Whatever you consistently focus on expands inside your mind. Focus on problems, and problems become your identity. Focus on opportunities, and possibility.